Say the thing.
If you dress like a hoe, I'm gonna treat you like a hoe. If you dress like the UPS man, I expect you to deliver the mail. You dress for the occupation that you have.
Okay. Hi guys. It's another episode of Reactions with OJ. Hi. I'm your host, OJ. I don't know why I introduced this segment like that. Just a quirky thing I did on the first episode and now it has kind of stuck. But anyways, we're going to be reacting to some videos again today. SK has done the most, as always. Big ups to SK. He takes his time to find these videos for us to react to. And I'm going to be sharing my thoughts as always. Let me know if you have any opposing thoughts, contrary views in the comments. I'll do my best to respond to them. Let's get stuck in. First video.
3 things alpha males never say to women. If you think you...
Sorry, first of all, why is he shirtless? this guy started this video being shirtless.
An alpha male, or you want to be an alpha male, you should never say these to a woman. Number 1, when can I see you? Guys, you should never just be available every time. You need to be a busy man. She needs to be trying to find out when you're available, right?
Yeah, like, if you have nothing doing, just pretend like you have something going on so that your partner knows that you're a busy guy. Because if you're not busy, you're not an alpha male. So obviously you're not an alpha male.
You being available anytime she wants is putting you in a weaker position, and alpha males do not accept a weaker position.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. He's so spot on. Alpha males are not weak, and if you're not busy, if you're just jobless, like some people that we know, you're not an alpha male.
Number 2, can I get another chance? Begging for another chance from a girl is weak. It shows that you don't have a lot of options.
You be begging,
right? Do not
as a man.
that position. If a girl doesn't like you, bye-bye.
Yes.
Number 3, guys, can I be your boyfriend? Asking a girl to...
Oh my god, you are polite too? Like you actually take permission and say, can I be your boyfriend? Oh my god. Oh, I can't believe this. You're just weak. You're weak. You're a weak man.
Being in a relationship with her is not alpha. Women should be fighting, beating down your door to try to be your girlfriend. Those are 3 things you should never say to...
Fighting, beating out, the same way they do in the animal kingdom. Because we're all animals, right? Yeah. This guy's genius. Let's continue madness. I don't know where he found this video, but he stopped here. Okay. Of course he's an alpha male. And we should all listen to him, seeing as his shirtless attention-grabbing antics validates his self-worth, right? If you guys didn't get any of this, yes, I'm being sarcastic. I think this guy is a clown. There's so many layers to his foolishness. I don't want to start. I don't know where to start unpacking them. Don't get me wrong. There's some truth to what he's saying, but the examples he's giving are irreparably flawed. First off, the idea that there are things that you should never say to women is just stupid to me. Confident and self-assured men say exactly what they think when they think it. That does not give them the license to be rude, right? Being rude is diametrically opposed to the idea of alpha to begin with. But it does mean that they are not bothered by what other people think. And they will say what they know to be true, regardless of however you feel. So the idea that he starts this video off by saying, here are some things that you should never say to women. Yes, bro, we get it. Secondly, the examples he gave are more associated with being polite. So he's unconsciously asserting that to be an alpha, you should not be kind. Do I have to spell this out? This is false. It's not true. Asking when can I see you is suggestive of interest. Again, the argument could be made for him to take initiative and just set up the date. But let's be realistic. That doesn't always work. If you're with someone who is extremely busy, just setting up a date without knowing their schedule is foolishness. There's nothing wrong in asking clarifying questions. It doesn't make you less a man. It doesn't mean you're not alpha. You just want to know. And then there's his argument of not being available every time. I'm sorry, but what is the role of a man in a relationship biblically and from a societal context? Is it not to provide? Or have we changed that too? Is it not to give your partner, give your very, very best to your partner? Can't you see that by being unjustifiably unavailable, you're alienating your partner and just making their life harder? For God's sake, like, if you're going to be with someone and be concerned about pretending to be unavailable, just to be an alpha male, then you should be single. Just be by yourself. I think the rationale is that as a man, you should have something that you're occupied with, which is true. You should have some form of work. But that doesn't mean you should be unavailable just to form busy, just to pretend, oh yeah, I have something I'm doing, you know, I don't have time for you, yeah, I'm an alpha. And then there's the big one. So you won't ask your girlfriend, or you won't ask her to be your girlfriend. You won't show your hand and declare your intention. You chicken out from that conversation. And that is supposed to be alpha. As earlier implied, a lot of these influencers are insecure and scared. So they just look for attention by removing their shirt and making noise. They're entertaining, but don't make the mistake of taking them seriously. That's my advice. Even the point that he made about asking for second chances, like, if you made a mistake, shouldn't you own up to it? I don't know. He sounds more toxic than alpha to me. So do without what you will. But yeah, those are my thoughts. On to the next video.
What man is going to look at that and say, you know what? I do need to pay her bills. Ladies, this is what you should ask yourself before you ask your man, that man, because he ain't yours yet. Ask yourself, what am I bringing to him to ease or make his life better?
Why is everything about relationships these days? Don't get me wrong, I think relationships are great too, but like, feels like all the conversations about relationships. Sorry, just intrinsic thoughts.
That's what value is. If you can't answer that question, you don't deserve anything yet. What has that man said in the way that you bring him value? If it's only, let me take you to dinner, let me take you to eat, let me do... Why does he want to keep serving you if there's no service back? It is the law of reciprocity. What can you do to support that man?
Okay, fair enough, but I just want to interject and state here that, you know, biblically speaking, as a man, your role is to love your wife as Christ loved the church. So, with that being said, you are not really loving from the standpoint of expecting something back, right? The law of reciprocity doesn't really apply to you in that situation because you're in a relationship where you're supposed to give your all and not expect anything back, to be honest, right? Christ loved us. We love him because he first loved us. So that's the way it works. You love your partner into submission, right? You give yourself fully for your partner first. It's not about I'm going to love and then let's see what she does. These are valid questions to ask, right? You know, if she's consistently taking and she's not bringing anything to the table in your relationship, definitely step out. But that should not... My advice, just don't put it at the front of your mind. Think about what you can do to better a relationship. Give your very best to her, and then let everything else take care of itself. If you notice that this isn't going the way it should, then step out. I think this is great advice for women, but I don't want the vast majority of men and listeners to this channel to go out and say, oh yeah, I have to focus more on what my partner is doing, because that's what our fathers and our forefathers did. Those are some of the issues they had. It's always a question of, oh, my wife should submit to me, but never a question of, I should love my wife as Christ loved the church. So you have to try and contextualize that, and as a man, focus on that as well, because it's very important. And then, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else take care of, and everything else shall be added unto you. So everything else will take care of itself. Let's continue.
And that is the problem with these modern day women. It is all I, me, take. You got to be careful who you give to, because takers don't know when to stop.
Fair enough.
I am tired. These people they are ruining this generation. It's literally ruining the generation. Mm-hmm. And then little girls are glamorizing and fetishizing.
I mean, they got Sexy Red as a role model, girl.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely understand what she's saying. I think it's important for men and women to evaluate what they're bringing to the table. What I've observed is in secure relationships, these things aren't even an issue. And most people don't talk about them. They just try to give their very best to their partner. And conversations of what you bring to the table are rarely an issue. I guess if you're with someone that's selfless and prioritizes you, then you won't have these issues, right? That's the way I would frame that. And that's why I said, for men, I don't want to... I agree with her. I think it's great advice for women, but for men, my focus would be primarily on you, and loving your wife as Christ loved the church, right? There's so many things in the Bible that talk about relationships and give great advice to men on how to handle themselves. There's the Songs of Solomon, for example. It's one of those books. No one talks about it because it's honestly seen as very suggestive, I would say, within the Christian community. Like, oh yeah, reading Songs of Solomon, you are a Christian baddie. That's always the energy around it. So most people don't talk about it. But it's such a beautiful book on how to love, and at least for men, and the dynamics of that. And then we see instances again of how to love for men from the perspective of Jesus. I think there's a scripture that goes, "Because I love him, I will show him my heart," and things like that. So it's about, for you as a man, focusing primarily on doing your best to love your wife. I don't really I think you do that. You give your very best, and you're wise in the relationship stage. Like I try and say all the time that love can be unconditional. Relationships are conditional. So in the relationship stage, evaluate everything. But when you're married, when you're with someone that is, you guys are already together, man, even in that relationship, try to give your very best to that person, and then see what happens, right? See what happens. But great advice for women, I would say. Next video.
Why can't men treat women like ladies if they dress super sexy?
Okay. First off, SK, why are you adding these videos to the clips? You just want to put me in trouble. I think this is the second clip. This is the second clip from this podcast today. That you out for me, bro. Like, what's going on?
I don't want to say the first thing that came to my mind.
Please say the first thing that comes to your mind.
I agree with that. Say what you know to be true.
Say the thing.
If you dress like a hoe, I'm going to treat you like a hoe. If you dress like the UPS man, I expect you to deliver the mail. You dress for the occupation that you have.
I'm sorry. That took me out. If you dress like the UPS man, I expect you to deliver the mail. It's a bit crazy. Very out of pocket.
And if you want to be scantily clad, that's fine. It just warrants more attention and respect. So the question is, what is the end result that you want? And I'll tell you this right now. I don't care what anybody says. I have a lot of high value, high earning, masculine men in my life. Multimillionaires, single, happy, know who they are, certain, in purpose, on purpose. Some of them are married. Some of them have girlfriends. I have the whole spectrum, right? Mm-hmm. Genuine friendships with these people. Some are mentors. I will tell you right now, the less clothing that a woman has on is the higher chance of disqualification for a high value, high earning, masculine man for the long term. Now, they'll take you for the night.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll take you for a couple weeks.
I love the way her friend said for sure. Like, yeah, I've been there. Like, yeah, for sure.
A month, you might get a trip. And if that's all you want, then that's great. But if you actually want to be loved and valued by this type of man, you can't dress. You just can't. You don't get to do certain things. You just don't. You don't.
Do you feel like that's a sense of control?
No.
I don't.
I feel like it's a sense of respect. It goes back to exclusivity. If everybody can see it, what is special about it? In this day and age, people are walking outside with lingerie on and Air Maxes on. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good sexy number. Okay, I do. I love a good ooh
la la.
I am feeling myself. I'm a cleavage girl, but you can't do both.
The cleavage be cleavage.
It be out, But you gotta choose. You can't have legs out and chest out and midriff out. I mean, you can, but you're disqualifying yourself from really attracting and calling in a high value masculine man. They don't want that. It's too easy. I mean, they'll take it. Don't get me wrong, but they won't keep it.
I agree.
They'll take it, but they won't keep it. That's interesting.
I agree.
Kenny, I gotta ask you because you're a man. What's your answer? Why won't a man treat you like a lady if you dress overly sexy?
I think it's the longest
I would
video,
respect the woman. Like, she's still a woman. She still dress how she wants to dress, whether it's super business casual or she's like sexy, raunchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's still a level of respect. If we're talking about let's take things seriously, yeah, it's gonna be very different.
Ain't no way.
No way. Because it's like you're giving yourself out visually to the whole world and you're expecting me to feel exclusive about it. That's not the case.
Yeah. So I'm always careful when it comes to speaking on issues like this. Primarily because I aim to communicate my thoughts to men and speak on men's issues to women. That notwithstanding, I will say that I agree with her. First off, I think it's important for everyone to examine their motivations. Now, there are women who will tell you, I dress how I want for myself. I don't do it for anyone, and this makes me happy. And I've never understood that. Because what you're implying is that being naked makes you happy. Or, revealing parts of yourself makes you happy, right? And if that's what you mean, then why does that make you happy? Why does being naked make you happy? Furthermore, the fact that you are scantily clad is definitely going to draw attention to you. Primarily because that is not the norm. But more obvious, because your appearance is suggestive and is attractive. Obviously, because you're naked. So when we think through all of this, it seems obvious to me that people dress like that because they want attention. And you could say it's comfortable to wear less, it's comfortable to wear clothes that are tight, okay, but it comes with attention. You know this, and you're okay with it. So are you doing this for yourself, or are you just an attention seeker? Because back again, if you weren't an attention seeker, wouldn't the consistent attention make you uncomfortable and eventually override the physical comfort that being naked affords you? Those are just my thoughts. I also think if you're an attention seeker, then you shouldn't be upset about high value men not wanting to be with you. Again, this is context specific. Like, it depends on what you want and your definition of high value. If high value man to you is weighed on a pecuniary scale, ergo, how much money the man has, then you will find some men willing to overlook your attention-seeking traits in exchange for a romantic relationship with you. That's why I didn't really agree with when she said they will take it but they won't keep you, right? Because there's some men that will do that. But if you're looking for someone with upright character, then he'll probably be uncomfortable with the idea of you being naked. Again, backed by the ancient wisdom that not everything should be seen by everyone. Something should be kept private. So it's honestly up to you to decide what you want, but don't be upset when you dress a certain way and you attract certain men. You wanted attention and they gave it to you, right? So that's why I sit on the issue. And another thing we fail to mention is that people will often rationalize their behavior by citing celebrities who do the same. So, and I've always thought that validated my point, because you have to realize that these people that you idolize and have placed on apotheosis level are entertainers. And so they thrive off attention. They are, by the very nature of the work they do, attention seekers. And this is my talking to their description, not their character traits. So be sure to make that distinction. I don't want it to be inferred that I'm saying everyone that works in the entertainment industry is an attention seeker. It's just by virtue of their job description, right? But you can't look up to those people. You can't say, this celebrity dresses this way and it's not a problem, kinik like that. They are trying to attract people. They attract men, attract women, attract whoever they can attract, because that is what puts food on their table. So if you want to do that, okay, like, go on, do that. Like, it's a free world, everyone can do whatever they want to do. But don't be upset when you attract the wrong type of people. I think it's also pretty interesting. I've forgotten the country it was. I don't know if it was Australia, one of these countries, they had there's a female prime minister, and she had a party at her house, and she was drinking, she was having a good time, you know. It's supposed to be a good time anyways. And, you know, the Australian public, they weren't happy about it. Like, why? She's not conducting herself properly, she's not behaving properly. And obviously there are people that are going to say, oh, that's just because she was a woman. But the same thing happened with Boris Johnson when he had a party at his house, you know, during COVID. So it's like we expect people in politics to behave a certain way. We expect people that are not entertainers, that are the ruling class, kings, queens, to conduct themselves in a certain way. So if you want to compare yourself to an entertainer who by virtue of what they do are attention seekers, then go ahead, be my guest. Do whatever you want to do. But don't be upset when kings don't come looking for you, right? Because kings will be attracted to people who conduct themselves as queens, right? So it's a societal expectation that people in politics, people that are in business, don't dress like that. And it's like you can look at for as many examples as you want to. Women are in politics, are in business, and are killing it. Don't dress like that, right? But again, it's up to you. It depends on who you want to be. So, those are my thoughts on that. I need to have a conversation with SK because the fact that he brought this particular video twice, I feel like he's trying to set me up. I don't know what's going on here. But as always, I've enjoyed reacting to these videos. I will be back again as soon as possible to do this with you guys, depending on when SK can find more videos for us. Until then, please subscribe, share the video if you agreed, share it as well if you didn't agree, if you disagreed, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you guys soon. Until then, take care. Bye.